this is just my opinion. I think that the older you are, and like you said, like in your 50s versus your 20s, and I know people disagree, but just based on stuff that I've kind of read, but like I said, I don't have definite stats right now, but I do remember reading something along those lines about the longer, so marriages that typically happen earlier, it increases the likelihood of divorce versus waiting later.
Gotcha.
And so based on that, I would surmise that if you got married, let's say in your 50s, I know a lot of people say, oh, you're just stuck in your ways, you're not going to be willing to change, things like that. But I also think the difference between that is because you know how you are, I think you're more cognizant of the partner that you choose because you want to find somebody that's in line with that. So you're not just looking at looks, like typically when you're younger, you're like, no, they gotta be fine, and that kind of takes a little more precedence over other things that may be important. Whereas when I think you're older, you've lived enough life to realize that all of those things are important, and you are more clear on what it is that you need. So I think you may vet a little better when you're older. And I think that that sets the foundation for a better relationship.
I don't
It,
necessarily agree that picking older when you're older that you're better at vetting. I just think that oftentimes when I hear a number of older people talk about, when they get into new relationships and stuff like that, it's almost like I just need the bare minimum. I need you to be somebody that's going to be with me to the end. However the end is, whether it's 20, 30 years from now, I want somebody to be with me to help me or to be with me, like I said, like when it's late
a
at night
hospice
or
wife. They call it a
yeah,
hospice wife.
it's like there was this guy recently, like there was this pastor. He was been playing around with this girl for like 20, 30 years. Then he just randomly decided to marry her when he basically in a wheelchair. Bro, the disrespect. Now, granted, she smiled and was like, "Hey, I got the ring now," but you didn't suck this woman's whole entire life. Now, granted, she could have left a long time ago.
Exactly.
She could have made some moves.
Well, they were
Cool.
together 20 years, right? It
I
wasn't
don't
a
care how
relationship.
long
But
he
that's
was
the point.
together.
She was together with him for 20 years without being married.
But the thing
Yeah,
about, so what I'm saying to you is they were together 20 years. So you're saying he was stringing her along, playing with other people. Why? But if they were in a
listen,
committed relationship for 20 years,
I
the
guarantee
rings
you,
just
if you've been messing
solidified it.
around with this woman for 20 years, he been messing with other girls. I guarantee you.
You don't know that. You don't make the pastor a hoe. Stop.
So I wanted to, because Miss Egan can correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard what she said very differently than the way Harrison heard it. I don't think it's more so about you learn to vet better, but you have a better understanding of self the older that you
Right.
get. Your identity is so much more solidified. And so when you're choosing a partner, you're choosing it from a different place. You're choosing it based on who you are and not societal expectations. I don't think that necessarily means you sharpen the skill on how to suss that out in somebody else, but it's more so I know me better now than I did when I was 20 years old. And so the things I'm looking for have now shifted as a result of that. Like, was that what you were trying to say, mistaken?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that, but I still am somewhat on the fence. I agree. You definitely know yourself, but that still goes to the point that people they be like they say older people are stuck in their ways. You're not gonna try to convince this person to try to work with things that they don't feel like they should have to work with. So I just think that it's along the exact same lines of like, yo, like they not changing. And so they're gonna find somebody that's gonna deal with them how they are. If you're not a very agreeable person and I want somebody to let me walk over you, she's gonna choose a dude that's gonna let him walk over that's gonna let her
Is
walk over
that
him, keep it moving.
is that not smarter than pretending to pick somebody and
No, it's
convince
not
your
smart.
hang on, let me finish. So like the idea, So what happens with a lot of younger people is they tell themselves, because they don't understand themselves and their boundaries the same way, is that they tell themselves that this is something I can put up with, this is something I can deal with. 10, 15, 20 years down the line, they're like, oh no, I lied to myself. This isn't actually something I can put up with. Versus when you understand, like, hey, I'm unyielding about these things, and this person's unyielding about these things, that idea of your tolerance towards certain things is so much more solidified that you're picking somebody with a more realistic understanding of who they are, as opposed to idealizing what you can tolerate.
I agree in that aspect. It is indeed smarter because why are you going to choose somebody that you know off rip that you're going to be bumping heads, right? But if you still have a problematic attitude because you don't listen to nobody, you do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and you don't care about who it hurts, and you got a person that is willing to endure that, I mean, I don't think that's actually a better relationship. All it is, you just found a better punching bag that you're dealing with.
That sounds like he needs to change himself. Listen, so
I agree. He does need to change
because
himself.
he don't need to be
But
with nobody doing that. Which y'all gonna see, even if you find somebody who punches back, y'all just gonna be going like this. That's not okay. That's toxic.
but people like toxic. That's the reason why people
That's
be
what I
in
was
these
about to say.
relationships.
Sometimes you're attracted to toxicity, and then you get so worn out because you got yourself in this toxic relationship, and now you stressed, looking like you 80 years old, you only 40. You're mad at the world, like, oh, women are this, this, and this, and you chose that. That's what you chose.
I agree, but just like when we talk about the Kiki Palmer situation, you got to understand that as men, like he liked the way she looked. We like the way women look. When y'all wear the tight revealing, you got the titties poking out, you got the tight dress on. Most men like that. However, we don't want other people seeing the thing that we like. We want that to be for ourselves. So initially, he's like, yo, this looks great. And a lot of times, brothers see the good looking woman that they got in the nice revealing outfit as like a status symbol to him. Like, oh, look at this fine woman that I got. But then when somebody rubs up on that fine woman that you got because she got her titties out, okay, well, now we're having a very different perspective. That now, though I like the way she looks, now I have to deal with other stuff that I don't particularly like. And some people might think I look dumb because I got her out looking like this. And now I got people coming on touching what I think belongs to me.
Well, if she allows people to touch her, that's kind of her. That's two different things. Lenas, did you have some?